Hey Aquarius, this is Zahara Stars with Astrology, giving you your March 2018 astro weather forecast. Woo! March is going to be a little wacky, and you Aquarians, you're okay with that. You know, all the mix-ups and stuff that come into play when planets turn retrograde. Hey, Aquarians can go with the flow, right? Take the other route, mix it up. So you guys will likely fare really well. This month it's another blue moon month where there's two full moons in the same month. On the 1st, there's a full moon in Virgo. And on the 31st, there's a full moon in Libra. This is a lot of energy going into revealing truths, intuition, insights, things being uncovered, illuminated, so to speak. A lot of things, you can make decisions during the full moons. You can have realizations that lead you to decisions later on as the full moon energy starts to really kick in. The first 2 weeks of March, there's a lot of planets going in Pisces, which is really nostalgic, kind of slowing down, very romantic, but it can be confusing energy, Pisces, because Pisces has no limits, no boundaries, and we can fantasize, get caught in daydreaming, fantasize about our dream lover walking in our doors, all this stuff with Venus and Pisces since Valentine's Day, actually since the 10th of last month, Venus moved into Pisces, and there's currently the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are transiting in Pisces, which occupy your second house of earned income and money. Now, Pisces isn't a very materialistic sign to begin with. It's a very compassionate, generous, loving sign, very, can be deluding, and you can be deluded with Pisces because you're always seeing things better than what they are. But, it makes the dream world. It makes movies. Neptune rules movies. It's all about the fantastical, with all these planets transiting through there. So it can be hard to focus. We can find our boundaries are kind of lowered. Aquarians are fixed signs. So when planets are transiting through Pisces, which is a mutable sign, we can find more flexibility, more compassion, more sensitivity. But definitely there's been some increase in the financial realm for you guys with Venus transiting there. The second part of March, Venus is actually going to move into Aries, which is going to be in your third house, which is all about communication, getting around, driving around town, neighbors, siblings, all that. So you can spend more time with your siblings. You can find your relationships improving while Venus moves into Aries, which will actually be Venus and Mercury are both going to move into Aries actually on the 6th. So as of the 6th, okay, things are going to kick up a tempo. We're going to come out of that watery, drowning feeling of Neptune, and we're going to start taking action, be more bold in our steps. So when Venus is transiting Aries, if you're single and you're looking for somebody and you meet somebody that you're attracted to, you're likely going to let them know. Aries is just do it, more direct, action-oriented sign. So for those that are more, quiet or passive, or those that haven't gotten things moving in a romantic relationship where there might be, insecurity or fear or, shyness or whatever, things can start picking up when Venus moves into Aries, because it's like now or never, baby. It's now or never. Mercury and Venus will move into Aries on the 6th. That's going to be your third house of communicating. You're going to, if you're in sales, it's awesome. You're direct. You communicate effectively. You're going to be taking bolder communication actions because Mars is the warrior planet. Just watch out for pushing your opinions too strongly, because Mars just doesn't think, it just does. So you can be impulsive. And sometimes offensive, all right? You can get into arguments with Mars transiting, with Venus transiting Aries, but it's not really so much so. It would be more if it was Mars. When it's Venus, it's just more of direct action in love and in the things that you like and you desire. Venus is all diplomacy and pleasure and romance and all that stuff. So you'll be bolder, in your communications for sure. Okay, which is awesome if you've been wanting to step out and say something or to communicate something. Then that's going to be a good time to do so. Now, we have Jupiter and Mercury both turning retrograde. As I said, I think I said in the beginning, I hope I did. Jupiter turns retrograde on the 8th, and it's going to be in Scorpio in your 10th house of career. So this is all about, if you're looking for a job, you're going to have callbacks, okay? If you are currently working, there's going to be a lot to review, redo, all this stuff. You could maybe revamping yourself. If you have your own business or you're trying to get your name out there, now is the time. Jupiter's promoting. Jupiter is expansion, promotion in the 10th house. The 10th house is where you get praise, where you get recognition. So Jupiter going back can bring you other job opportunities, other career opportunities. It can bring you increases in income in your status and career. It can give you a lot of PR. There's a lot of stuff, but retrogrades are always about going back and fixing things and revisiting them, and it's karmic times and it's fated times. So things that are supposed to come to you will come to you during these retrograde periods. A lot does come. It's just not excellent time to start new stuff because the planet's moving backwards. It's going backwards so you can fix things or restart things or revisit things or get things that you missed, while Jupiter was going direct. They can come back to you. So that's what that's about. And Mercury retrograde is the same thing. Yes, it rules technology. Yes, there's communication glitches, and be careful about sending that unwanted text or that accidental text or butt dialing people, things like that. It's just that, we kind of get a little bit skewed, but for the most part, in the first part of the transit, when it starts turning retrograde, and then later on, we get more focus, and that's why we're able to go back, visit, and fix things during retrogrades, okay? Now, those of you waiting to hear from an ex or somebody that you had a falling out with or anything like that, hey, all the times for revisiting those areas are all during retrogrades, and Mercury retrograde is one of the most common. Okay, so Mercury is going to be turning retrograde in Aries, which is in your 3rd house of communication. So this is about communication coming back to you. Okay, so if you were waiting on a text message from somebody and you didn't hear back from them, and you're probably going to hear from them during Mercury retrograde. Okay, now this is not for everyone, and this is not every single person that has an ex or somebody else that they wish to hear from, but it is the most likely time during Mercury retrograde. And that's going to be on the 22nd of this month in Aries, is when it's going to start. There are technological errors and issues that occur, usually because everybody's revisiting their stuff too. So websites can be down because they decide they want to add stuff, change stuff, update their app, whatever it is. So apps can be like, you could struggle with those because everybody's trying to revisit, refix, redo during retrogrades. Now, if you're in sales and you made a ton of sales calls, you planted all your seeds, those calls are going to come back to you. All that marketing material will come back. Those people will come back during Mercury retrograde and decide that now's the time to purchase. Those are the types of things that you can look at. Now, if you've had a falling out with a friend, same thing. You can reconnect. It's all about fixing our karma. It's all about fixing situations in our life. It's all about bettering things, thinking things through. When the planet is retrograde, it's like a slowdown. We internalize. We think things through, okay? And then we can make wiser choices. We can fix things. We can change the outcomes of things. Now, technology, yes, you can have issues with your phone, with your car, with whatever, but this is Murphy's Law. It's always, if it could break or it was gonna break, it will, or it's and especially in your 3rd house of communication, technology, transportation, and all that stuff. So upgrades are really typical, buying a new phone, buying a new computer, or fixing it. I know a lot of people say don't buy anything. I don't agree with that just because I've done it so many times and it's worked out for me. But hey, that's my own personal experience, maybe because I have Jupiter in the 3rd. But I just think that it's, if it's broken, you got to buy something new. And having it retrograde, just pay attention to the details, inspect it thoroughly, okay? Inspect it thoroughly. And if it's something that comes out of the blue that you didn't think you ever want, and all of a sudden you want it when Mercury is retrograde, just wait until afterwards to make sure, because you might not be happy with your choice. But for the most part, I think we think clear. I think we think very clear. And that's why we we feel nostalgic, we internalize, we analyze, we want to do things better. So we make plans, it's all about making these plans, but it's also about reaping the rewards, okay, of the seeds you planted. Okay, so that's what Mercury retrograde and Jupiter retrograde. So it's all about revisiting your career, revisiting people, having job opportunities come back to you, potential job increases, past lovers coming back, past friends coming back, technology, communication, new cars, all that stuff is going to be active. Okay, it's going to be active for you through March, and especially since Venus and Mercury are going to be following through on your third house too. So this is going to help while Mercury is retrograde because Venus brings benefits. So usually you're going to increase or maybe purchase some new technology. Maybe a new car, maybe renew your lease, maybe something like that, or you're just going to be very, you're going to want to have harmony in your communications with Venus there, and then Mercury retrograde. You'll be reviewing how you communicate and stuff like that. Now, of course, this can bring people from the past or people you haven't talked to in a while, including siblings, neighbors. The third house is your local environment. So there's a lot of that going on. Now there's some really good aspects, but there's a couple of days that I want to notify you about, just to be careful if you are in a relationship, if you're in a love relationship, and you're happy right now, okay? And you're happy right now. Be careful when Mercury, actually on the 11th and on the 13th and on the 23rd, the 11th, 13th, and 23rd. These days are the only days that we're having some kind of difficult aspects in terms of communicating, in terms of expressing love, and also in terms of, wanting to have it our way and no way, our way or no way. Okay, and those are on the 11th, Mercury is going to square Saturn, which causes us to be reserved in our communication. So we can, overthink things. We can be negative even, we can feel like we're blocked and we're not able to communicate. So we can be frustrated. And especially because this day, Mars is going to trine Uranus in Sagittarius, Mars in Sagittarius is going to trine Uranus in Aries, which is all fire, and Mars is just fire and Uranus is just wacky. Like, I want to break free. I got to get out of here. I got to try something different. And that's awesome energy. But there's a conflict going on here because you might want to do something, but then you're going to talk yourself out of it or overthink it, which is good because it can make you make smart decisions too. But the only reason why I say in terms of communicating, if you want to communicate something important on that day, it's probably not the best day just because you're not going to feel like words are flowing, and on the 13th, because Venus in Aries will square Saturn in Capricorn, and Venus is all about diplomacy and Saturn restricts that. So we can find ourselves frustrated. We can see, things and people that we didn't see before, because Saturn shows us our weakest links. Love lives. So like if you've been having problems with your partner or you're not happy with something, on this day you're likely to let him have it. Just know that you're not going to be, you could say things nicer on this day, okay? Because it's like, this is like pent up frustration day. Like with Saturn square Venus is like, you don't care what people think or how they feel. You just want to say what you want to say, okay? And it's like, if you're aggravated or frustrated with something, you're going to find fault in it and you could pick your partner apart. This is if you're in a relationship. So just be careful on this day, think things through, and then maybe talk about it a couple days later when it's not there. The other day is the 23rd when Venus in Aries squares Pluto. This is like, if you're not happy in your relationship or there are things that you're not very happy with, you're likely to let them know on this day because Venus square Pluto is all about power and about, having things your way, and it's purging what you're not getting, and you have to address it, and you can't wait any longer, and you're not willing to tolerate it, and you could be explosive. You could be explosive and dramatic, okay? And that's okay if it needs to be. If it's something that needs to be said, if it's something you've been tolerating for a long time, that's why these transits come. They come to empower us, But sometimes they can push us too far, and we can totally explode and act irrational and then feel ridiculous afterwards. So just be careful on those days. If you feel like it's something you need to say, just realize the transit that's happening that day so that way you can think things through, because Mercury will be retrograde too on that day when Venus in Aries is square Pluto. So it's like there could be, a lot of a lot of confusion that takes place, and just things misinterpreted and said wrong and said in a way that doesn't need to be said that way. But there's change that can happen that day. Definitely change. So just be careful about how you go about doing it. Okay. Or if you don't want to blow it all up. Okay. And so, yeah, those are the only days that I'm thinking. But for the most part, there's a lot of positive things going on for you guys with career, and also with your third house of communicating and technology and getting around town. A lot of stuff going to be going on there. So you're going to be really busy. Okay. That's what I see you guys doing. You're going to be really busy, but you're going to be happily busy. You're going to be socializing a lot, communicating a lot, seeing good things happen at work. Also, active with friends, because Mars has been transiting your 11th house of friends, and this means that you're active and social and being invited out to groups and, hanging out with people, and probably maybe your friends need you more, or being part of a group, you're putting your energy into that 11th house friends and socializing. So there's a lot of that going on, especially with the third house stuff later in the month. The second half of the month, with Venus and Mercury's transit through your third house, is going to kick up the communication and activities and going to and fro, moving around, getting around, talking to people, socializing, especially with Mars still transiting your 11th house of friends. So it looks like a really social month. There's a lot of good aspects going on. Just watch out for the days I told you. Just be, aware on the 11th, the 13th, and the 23rd. The 23rd, Venus squares Pluto. The 11th, Mercury squares Saturn. And on the 13th, Venus in Aries will square Saturn. So those are just days that you don't want to do things that require you to do them diplomatically, and to make sure you don't ruffle too many feathers and upset anybody, just because of those particular days. But overall, the month looks great for career, great for socializing, great for activity. You're going to be having a lot of fun. So yeah, this about wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me, and please do check back for April 2018's forecast. But also, I did a general forecast that kind of covers the general theme for the month. So if you want to know more about the planet aspects and stuff like that. Also, if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to get all my latest. Otherwise, that will do it. Thanks so much for tuning in, Aquarius. Have a fabulous month, and I'll talk to you all soon.